How could this be? I'm not making a video about Doctor Who. So, I'm not much of a DC fan. Some of the movies are good, like the Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I feel like a lot of the times, due to studio interference mostly, they end up falling flat. Which is why I'm not much of a DC fan, but I'm a huge Batman fan, so I'm always gonna see those. My favorite Batman iterations are the animated series and the Kristen Bale's trilogy, and also Gotham. I don't know if Gotham counts because Batman's not in it, just Bruce Wayne, but I'm a huge fan of Gotham. But yeah, I love Batman, not a big fan of DC, so they kind of level out. And I had my doubts when they announced that this wasn't going to be a Ben Affleck Batman movie because I felt like he always kind of got the sword under the stick because he never got a solo movie. He was just stuffed into other people's movies or just in the Justice League. Like, I never thought he got a chance to properly be Batman for an entire movie. And when they announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, I wasn't super, upset, like a lot of nerds will. I'm not a big stickler for like different casting because similar to Jodie Whittaker in Doctor Who, it's not his fault Twilight was what it was. But I thought he was great as Batman. He was very tough and intimidating. The movie does a great job of making him seem intimidating and infamous. Like those word on the street that Batman's coming and he's gonna get you. Like the goons in the beginning, he makes a great entrance into the movie. Um, some people complain that he didn't act like Bruce Wayne, and he pretty much played Batman the entire movie. And I'll counter to that by saying that this is only his second year as Batman, so maybe he didn't get the Bruce Wayne persona yet. Maybe he's still working on it. And I think this was very fast paced for a 3 hour movie. And I have nothing against long movies. I'm a huge fan of stuff like Lord of the Rings, Gone with the Wind, Ben Hur, um, Snyder Cut. But some movies that are this long kind of drag on a bit. But I feel like this didn't. It was able to make a really fast paced and just easy going, like boom, 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 boom. It was able to be action packed, but at the same time be more of a slow burn thriller, which I think they really struck a really good balance there. The tone was gritty, but not too dark. It's like it's the city is still kind of colorful, but it's not too campy, and it's not too gritty. And it reminded me of the tone of Batman the Animated Series. That had a really gritty tone, but still really colorful and interesting at the same time. I thought the story was good, and the Riddler was a nice villain. I'm glad we didn't use the Joker yet again. I think the Joker's getting kind of tired. As much as we all like the Joker, I feel like it's good to give him a rest. But he's probably going to be in the next movie. But I like the Riddler's riddles and how Batman was able to work step by step, and how the Riddler thought that he was on Batman's side in the end. I thought that was kind of interesting because in a way, you and I are not so different like that. Except the Riddle's absolutely insane. He's delusional but dangerous. It's a really nice balance, and I think Paul Dano, if that's how you pronounce his name, plays it perfectly. However, the main two standouts for me were Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. I thought she did a great job. I've been a fan of her since Big Little Lies, which is a great show, by the way. And she has an aura of kind of smart sexiness, which is what Catwoman's supposed to have. She has an allure about him, a little bit mysterious. I think she nails it perfectly. And Jeffrey Wright as Golden. He's not a commissioner yet. Now Jeffrey Wright was in Westworld, so I've known about him for a long time too. He was really good in Westworld, and I think he's my favorite Golden because it's kind of like he's kind of like the Watson to Batman Sherlock Holmes. A very smart person in his own right, but often has to rely on Batman, and they have a really nice chemistry together, kind of like a buddy cop movie, except a little bit more serious than that. I also enjoyed the performance of Andy Serkis as Alfred, and I think he was a great actor. He's a very versatile actor because a lot of times we see him under motion capsule, but when he actually gets to be a human, that's equally as convincing. And I've also heard that he did the audiobook for Lord of the Rings, so I'm going to listen to that later this year. Stay tuned for that, by the way. But he was a very good Alfred because they didn't try to make him a father figure to Bruce Wayne. They clearly say like he wasn't a father figure, but he really it's still apparent that they deeply care about each other. Also, the soundtrack by Michael Giacchino, if that's how you pronounce his name, that was really good. Like, he's been underappreciated, in my opinion, for years. The Lost soundtrack slapped. Spider-Man soundtrack slapped. I hate that word. The Incredible soundtrack, just all he did a lot of Pixar movies. Very talented musician, and I'm glad that people are like, "Well, the Batman soundtrack was awesome." It's like, yeah, I knew it was gonna be awesome because I've loved this guy for years. He's a great soundtrack composer, way better than Hans Zimmer, in my opinion. Uh, and the special effects in this movie were very on point. It felt like, well, they were used a lot of the practical effects, which were nice. It wasn't just like a CGI blob in the screen, and the heroes are CGI flying to fight the CGI blob. It just felt a little bit more grounded. And Gotham City was seemed like a very lived-in city. We only got 3 hours with it, but we could kind of get the gist of what it is. It feels like a character in its own right, without being just a copy of like Chicago. Like the Dark Knight kind of felt like. I love the Dark Knight, but that's one of my only flaws with it. Because I've driven past a lot of the set. Maybe that's a personal thing. I don't know. I love how the flooding scene was filmed. It just has like a grand epic scale where it looks like the entire stadium is flooded. What's with villains and attacking Gotham Stadium? You know, this is the second time it's happened in 10 years. First it was Bane, now it's the Riddler. Just don't go to the stadium. Just don't do it. And I really hope they make a Batman 2. I don't know if it'll be like in a few years, whenever they have time, if it gets greenlit, but I'd love to see it. I think Matt Reeves, the director of the movie, said that he wants to make a trilogy, which is good. I think they should stick to the standalone route though, and not try to integrate everything into the Justice League and stuff, because then people just start comparing you to Marvel. And I know Justice League was around before the Avengers, but in film wise, whenever they did the Justice League, it seemed like they were trying to compete with Marvel. But when they do standalone stuff like this and the Joker movie, I felt like they have more of a creative direction they're going with, instead of just looking at Marvel and saying, hey, let's do that. But yeah, overall, I thought the movie was really fun. I don't know if it's my favorite Batman movie. That still goes to The Dark Knight Rises. I know, unpopular opinion, everybody thinks The Dark Knight's better, but I think The Dark Knight Rises is better. So that's probably my favorite Batman movie. I don't think Robert Pattinson's my favorite Batman. That probably still goes to Kevin Conroy. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. It has great potential. I feel like if Matt Reeves continues on this path for the next movie and see how much money they want to make of this, Robert Pattinson has the potential to be my favorite Batman. I don't know. Anything's possible. So let me know what you guys thought of this movie down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys for more Doctor Who content and other stuff. But until then, peace.